Namaste, everyone. This is the weekly reading. Today is Sunday, November 13th. Reading starts today, goes through Saturday to come, November 19th, by which day I should hope to at least have something up in honor of Osiris. What else? Finally able to actually get the client readings that I've been working on this week to people. Posted another special reading. I recorded it on the 11th. It didn't finally upload to YouTube till today, which is kind of insane. So I'm hoping that this reading will upload to you. But we're going to get into it. We're going to make it do what it do. Starting with Weekend Away. Yes. Shower. 29. And... oh, Wet and Wild. Wet and Wild. Spirit says, stay in bed. Try again. Buy shoes. Kitchen. And your choice, which means the other person's choice. Like it's up to them, not you. And as far as trying again, Spirit says email. With the cards, I only have one deck on the table so far, but of course I have many, many decks sitting around me here. So if we need more, I got them. We're starting with the Chariot. And the Chariot is about victory. It can be about movement, both literal and metaphoric. Movement, moving. So maybe somebody's moving house. Maybe somebody's getting a new car. Not so much when it's upright, but in general can also come with like a warning of, not to speed or anything. So with it upright, I'd say if you do get, stopped or pulled over or something, or have car trouble, like everything will work out. All right. What's behind it? Is the World in reverse. So some sort of, followed by the Fool. The last card and the first card. I like it because World is about a cycle coming to an end. But it's something that somebody doesn't want to come to an end when it's in reverse like this is what I'm getting. And, like they want to start new. So they don't want things to be completely over. That's not necessarily a relationship, a romantic relationship at least, but it certainly can be. It can be a business relationship. It can be something going on with a family, a tradition or whatever. And they just don't want it to stop completely, although they do want it to have like a new start, right? So maybe we'll change something about the way we're going into it, right? Having faith and strength that everything's going to be fine. There's movement again, communication. Wow. Okay. Probably does have to do with some kind of relationship and very possibly a romantic one. Somebody wants a new beginning with you. Some sort of cycle that you had been experiencing together is coming to an end. And, maybe perhaps in the past they weren't as willing to, but now they're willing to go out on a limb and take a risk for you. This guy's like on a ledge. He's looking up. He's not looking down. He's not watching where he's going. He's really taking the full-on like risk, no measured steps, no whatever. And here we have a guy holding the globe, thinking, I think, this came up in the reading that I did the other day about wanting to give you the world. Show you the world. Be a very supportive relationship, mutually supportive, mutual adoration, love, and respect. I got you, you got me, we got each other. Us against the world. Bonnie and Clyde. Again, movement, communication, maybe where there hasn't been any recently. For some sort of partnering. It can still be familial or friends, so maybe you had a falling out or something with the BFF, or you haven't seen them in a while. It could be that. Parent and child. Other family members, siblings, and it can definitely be romantic. And if it is romantic, could be an ex that's returning, so the cycle ended between the two of you and they want to start something new, and they're going to be different when they come back. They used to be a taker, maybe, and maybe that's why they want to go on the limb and be the fool this time, because you've been the fool so many times, and maybe they've played you for a fool so many times, and they just took, and perhaps took you for granted. But look, new beginning again. You're the star, right? You're their star. They just think very, very highly of you, and you bring them some sort of wish fulfillment. This is the kind of like abundant new start that they'd like to have with you. And you may actually be in the public eye in some way, is what I'm feeling. Obviously, that everybody's not going to be in the public eye in some way, but somebody that is watching. Whatever, I'm not sure what that means necessarily, but in some kind of way. Maybe you're a performer or something. And our overall energy that we're starting with is the 9 of Pentacles today. It's followed by the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, as well as the 7 of Pentacles. So a lot of earth energy, maybe a lot about money or work could come up this week. As actually, when I was shuffling, I was thinking I should do a reading that's only about like finances and work, because I have a few people who've been out of work. I have some people that recently got their jobs back. When I said something was coming around for a second time, it actually did. And they got their old jobs back, or they got a new similar job. A few clients. But I also have some that lost their jobs. Some are still looking, to replace those jobs. And I wanted to talk about, I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to make this weekly reading too long, and I don't want to focus on only the money, but I'm just, being compelled to say something now, at least to put it out there. The saying, scared money don't make no money. It's a hood saying, at least. I don't know who else uses it, but I know black people use it. And it means, like, if you are afraid to take a risk, like the fool, and to put yourself out there, maybe put your money where your mouth is, put your money out there, and to invest in something, to invest in yourself, then you're not very likely to reap any benefits. Like, you got to put the money out, or the energy out, the belief in yourself out, right? You have to make the investment, and that's how you reap the benefits. So whoever came up with the saying, I don't know if they realize it or not, but there's also like spiritual connotations to it. The idea of scared money. If your relationship with money is one of fear, and everything is fear-based. I know it's easier said than done, like, don't worry. I know you don't have a job, but don't worry. You're going to get one, or, the universe will provide, God will provide. I know, and definitely easier said than done. Like, what do you mean don't worry? I have a family to feed. I get it. But if your relationship with money is one of fear, then that's what you can, and loss and lack, that's what you'll continue to manifest, because that's what you'll continue to focus on. So I'm going to do that reading. But let's start now, for those of you to whom this applies, with working on our relationship with money. You might want to listen to some binaural tones too that are about money, or some mantras that can help you to improve that. Maybe begin to speak some affirmations to yourself, perhaps in the mirror. Sometimes that can be helpful, to actually look yourself in the eye and speak the affirmations. Helps to build an actual belief in it, a faith in it, like the Two of Wands we just looked at is about faith and belief. Anyway, our overall, our focus this week is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is back. So again, that movement, communication, this is the card most directly, that's our most focus, our spiritual focus or theme of the reading this week, or of our week. So of our surrounding energy, so our close friends, family members, co-workers, and such. We have the King of Wands upright. Work and finance, the Queen of Cups. Love and relationship, the Star is back, still in reverse. Physical health, strength, and spiritual health, the Ten of Swords in reverse. And our overall energy was the Nine of Pentacles. That'll be here, crowning. So our overall energy, did I look to see what was under? Oh yeah, the Ten of Pentacles underneath the Nine of Pentacles. So I do feel that there is, this is going to be an abundant week. And we also have a very positive card in the placement of working finance in the Queen of Cups. So let's get to it. Our overall energy, the Nine of Pentacles, is one of the most uplifting and encouraging cards actually in the deck. I mean, because this can mean that your financial worries are over for a while and that things in general will be going for you, better for you than you thought possible. Like, maybe you have been focusing on fear as it relates to money, on where are you going to get your next meal, or how are you going to feed your kids, or whatever, and that those kind of worries quelled this week. We got a lot of really positive cards on the table right now. So we're guided to share this, wealth, incoming wealth, and happiness that comes with it, or whichever one comes first. Happiness may come first. May just feel good this week. Share that and spread that around, because again, the positive energy is what's going to help you to manifest positive things. And manifestation works the same in reverse too. So the negative thoughts and the negative energy, negative focus will bring in stuff you don't actually want. In a general sense, this card can be about us having just like a lot going for us, and a great deal to be proud of and or hopeful about, or both. We should be expecting like the best possible things to happen, and might find ourselves in a position to help others that are less fortunate than us. We should be paying attention not only to our material abundance, but also to our spirituality when this card comes up. In terms of specifically work, since I opened that, can of worms, if we're looking for a job, we're looking for a position, then this card, could be telling us that a job better than maybe what we would have thought about, hoped for, or expected was even possible for us could be coming our way. Even if we're currently employed, we could expect a change, maybe for the better, both in terms of our circumstances and also our pay. And just have, again, a lot to be grateful for. We do have the holiday seasons coming up. It can be about bonuses. There's been some stuff in the news about people receiving back pay for different things. Maybe some of the people who were put out of work, due to COVID for whatever reason. I know my son got his, speaking of COVID and back pay, he got his unemployment pay, and it's still not all of it, but at least finally he got some. This year only, just like a couple months ago. So all that time that he was unemployed, because he'd been working for the federal government, and all that time that he was not working for 2 years, he didn't get unemployment when other people were getting it, and so he just got. I mean, it's crazy, but that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to say when I'm saying like back pay, like something that you would do, is what I'm saying is possible too. There could definitely be some raises, promotions with the Chariot with which we started. Again, that's a card of victory, movement. So somebody could be maybe transferring to another site or location or position, and that will also bring increase. Love and relationship, if we're like single and looking, or available and waiting for somebody to come along, that person that comes along could be like a really, really good match for us. Okay, this would be, again, a relationship that is abundant. And one of which you are worthy and deserving, and the same goes for the other person. There is mutual, again, respect, love, adoration. You both have like what it takes to be a good partner for the other. So very positive. If you're already in a relationship, then instead this card can be about that relationship moving to new heights, just improving and getting better. Moving on to the Eight of Wands. When this card shows up, it's possible that you haven't had any movement in a particular area of your life, or you haven't received any communication from somebody from whom you had hoped to receive communication, or feel like you need to receive communication in order to be able to, get some movement going. But finally, again, something changes. This card can also appear when just like we have a lot of stuff up in the air, and just a lot of like how they say, fires in the iron, irons on the fire. Fires in the iron, irons on the fire. There's a lot of things going at once, and you might be frustrated and tired of waiting for something to really take off. This card can be an indicator to just be a little bit more patient, because things are starting to happen, and it could be behind the scenes so far. Like, things are starting to happen, you may not see it yet. You may not know. So like, this card can show up, and it might mean that something's in the mail, for example. So no use in you being at home frustrated, like, oh man, nothing's happening, and meanwhile, tomorrow I got to just go to your box and it's there. So it's, think about, we're seeing this card, it means something good is going to start happening. We shouldn't try to force things because that can cause them to backfire. What else? Work. Again, we might be waiting on a decision or something that has to be made by others, and this is the chances are with this card that the outcome is going to be positive, it's going to be good. But again, we shouldn't try to push or get for information before it's time and before they're ready. We just got to be patient and allow things to happen. With love, and this card can actually be kind of weird. It depends. Sometimes we feel like we're ready for a commitment, and it doesn't seem like it's coming. It's like, when are we going to finally, get involved or move to the next level or whatever it is. And again, it's about not pushing somebody before they're ready and being patient. So it's like, I thought there was a card of movement. What do you mean be patient? But yeah, this can be like, you're ready, you're getting moving, and the other person isn't. So if you actually, remain interested in them, then what you need to do is wait. And you can kind of distract yourself with other things, because again, you probably got a lot of fires in the iron. You probably got a lot of things going on right now yourself too, and you can give that attention rather than to sulking and to negative thoughts and negative energy about the fact that you're not together yet, to something more productive. The surrounding energy this week with the King of Wands is one that is goal-oriented and confident and supportive. Maybe an actual person, maybe even more specifically an actual male or an actual male fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Actually, there's 2 transits this week, both Mercury and Venus, which are both of Gemini's rulers, enter Sagittarius. And I'm mentioning Gemini specifically because, again, both of our rulers are entering Sagittarius. But not only that, Sagittarius is our mirror sign, our opposite axis. And some people say that, like, our perfect match. So for whatever that's worth, that could be a message for maybe somebody who is a Gemini. Venus, of course, also rules Taurus and Libra, and Mercury, of course, also rules Virgo. So all of those energies will be moving into the sign of Sagittarius this week. Maybe that's why the King of Wands is showing up, because actually in the tarot, the King of Wands, this specific card, not necessarily in this deck, but this card in general, does correlate to the sign of Sagittarius in traditional tarot most directly. What else? If it's about love and relationship, somebody that you're interested in or care about has similar, interests in you, very protective and loving feelings about you, which is what I love to hear. Like people say, well, I don't know, people say, I know I've always said that there's a difference between like needing and wanting a man, or a person, a relationship, right? I want, I want, to feel protected and supported. I don't necessarily need it because I got my own back if necessary. And there's a lot of us out there, right? It's very 9 of Pentacles. Got my own money, got my own stuff, got my own back. I don't need anybody, man or woman, but I enjoy that feeling of being supported and protected, and genuinely loved. It requires trust. Like you have to really feel like you can trust this other person. So whether this is romantic or not, if this is an actual person in your life, you have to really feel like you can trust another person with you. Like I trust you with my being, in order to get to the place where you're vulnerable enough where you can allow yourself to be protected by them, or to feel protected by them, and particularly safe in their presence, or better yet, in their arms, maybe. Yeah. And that was what I enjoyed most about my Sagittarius, my late Sagittarius, the ex Tommy that was murdered. He was a Sagittarius. In fact, his birthday is exactly 1 month from today. Today's 11/13. His birthday, his 44th birthday, would have been December 13th. So I definitely know that feeling all too well. But this is what we have in our surrounding energy. It may be an actual person for you that is going to be feeling supportive, even if it's at the job, right? Somebody who is providing you with, they truly believe in you. They're truly in your corner. And maybe can put in a good word, or maybe they're in the position where they're doing the hiring or promoting, and they're, something. It's a good thing to have this King of Wands here. Our Queen of Cups, sort of behind him, may also be an actual person in your life. It may be specifically a female, maybe even more specifically a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and even more specifically a Scorpio, because similar to how the King of Wands in the traditional tarot represents the sign of Sagittarius, the Queen of Cups in the traditional tarot most specifically represents the sign of Scorpio. We are currently still under a Scorpio sun. So both of these cards, again, can be showing up to demonstrate what's going on in our astrology. And of course, Sagittarius will be entering, or the sun will be entering Sagittarius when it leaves Scorpio. So that could be another piece to this. I think that's that's next week, right? This will be the last week, I believe, of Scorpio season. I said this reading goes through the 19th. Scorpio, the last day of Scorpio is the 21st. So yeah, next week the sun moves over here too. So that may be something. Just looking at the cards, not necessarily the placement of work and finance for a second. The Queen of Cups is, if this guy decides to turn around and make a move or to communicate, she's going to see it coming. And she's highly intuitive, right? The Queen of Cups. She is quite possibly, just actually psychic. And so she can feel it. Like I feel him returning. I feel him coming back. I feel he's going to make a move. I feel he's going to communicate. She can sense it. This is not something that's going to catch her by surprise. And she's going to be welcoming of it and very receptive to it. So in terms of relationship, but specific to the placement of work and finance, she usually can indicate like maybe an actual woman will be very helpful to you, in your work somehow. So again, maybe this person is in charge of the hiring, or can put a good word in for you, or can, I don't know, in some way maybe help you with a project or an assignment or something. Often this woman, to be more specific has like some light hair, a light colored hair. And she reminds us to bring like compassion and even love, like to our work. If that's possible. Like, even if we work in a factory, like I used to, with objects all day rather than people, just bringing the energy, that happiness that I was talking about, happiness and joy and things that we may be feeling, bringing that even to your work, even if you work around stuff rather than people, or you sit in a room by yourself. Also, things are probably better than maybe they had been. Again, maybe there was no movement before, but they're better this week in your work world, for whatever that may mean for you when this card appears. Okay, and they could be better than even you're realizing yet, because again, maybe some stuff is happening behind the scenes and you don't realize yet what's going. So again, we're encouraged to think positively when we see the card. Specific to finances, it's about good news, some sort of good news in relation to finance. So it might not be tied to your work. It could be, some other reason why there's good news about finances. Maybe you had money in Bitcoin or the stock market or bonds or whatever, and that did well. I don't know, some other reason, okay? And no matter what's happening in your financial life, you should feel like you can like give yourself a break and know that, you can make some sort of positive difference if you have, I guess it's about being generous again. How do I want to put this? If you have like a means of reaching others, like the Queen, can indicate like creativity, and that you can reach out to others, especially women right now, but maybe through some sort of way, like my daughter, for example, she works at a yarn store. So every now and then they have like these get-togethers at the yarn store for different things, and they're working on different projects or whatever. So it's like, I mean, and men join too. I mean, sometimes men want to knit and whatnot also, but in large part, it's like women helping other women through creativity. So we're giving, we're sharing. This kind of giving and sharing promotes the energy of abundance. That promoting positive energy, that spreading positive energy promotes the energy of abundance. So just like what I was saying before about investing, the scared money, like you have to invest something. So whether it's actual dollars and cents, or it's energy, or it's knowledge, or whatever, you put that in, and that's how you're going to end up reaping some sort of financial benefit. The bottom line is to think positively with regard to the Queen of Cups and your finances and your work this week, because she brings love and positivity and creativity to all of that. Moving on to the star in reverse. So this is our love and relationship placement. The star in reverse, although it's in reverse, it's still a positive card. It's one of those that whether it's upright or positive, upright or reverse, it's still positive. A lot of people get afraid of reversals, but there's no need. Although the star in reverse with regard to love does come with a warning, right? It warns us that there may be obstacles on our side or our love interest side that have to be worked out first. So all of these cards seem to be speaking of like a need for some sort of patience, because something is trying to happen, something is trying to come to you, and it could be specifically, looking at it from a twin flame or soulmate reading perspective. The King of Wands is the quintessential divine masculine of the tarot, and it could be that this is him, and especially with Osiris's birthday at the end of the week, for the last day for which this reading is, could be about a return, an overlying message of the divine masculine. But a need again for patience. Like we can't see what's happening what's happening behind the scenes. He could be working out some obstacles on his end, and in the meantime, while you're waiting, you should be doing the same thing. Especially with the star landing here underneath. Normally I'll put 4 here and 2 here. I'll just lay them any kind of way, or I'll bring out the stands and stand them up. I don't think I've put them like this before, so it's interesting that I, put the star underneath the 8 of Wands. And again, the 8 of Wands is about that movement too that we may not see coming. We may not realize is happening. But with regard to love, we can't force, we can't try to, and we shouldn't run away. We should be patient and wait, because something's happening, something's in the works. I'm getting something with the star too about popularity. And I just thought about that song Umbrella by Rihanna. And it's funny because when ringtones were popular, and even after I guess they were no longer popular, I still had that song programmed in my phone for my ex, Umbrella. And there's a line in that song that became like very true for me, or true for me about us. It goes, I may be in magazines, but you'll still be my star. And, as I find myself, yes, in magazines, in newspapers, a friend of mine and I were on the cover of the real estate section of the New York Times last year, or this year. I don't know, time is so crazy since the pandemic. But, I still, so people may be looking at me as a star, or as somebody again that's very popular or in the public eye. I was talking about people being in the public eye earlier, and I couldn't even explain it. I guess I'm in the public eye myself, at least to a degree. People maybe look up to you because of that, if you are also. But this is you telling the person that you're interested in, or that you have a connection with, or that you're dealing with, that you're in a relationship with, that despite all of that, that I may get a lot of hoopla from outside or whatever, like that doesn't mean anything, you know, like, and it doesn't measure up to you in my eyes and how I feel about you. And so that's from mine, and I just got about the star. Maybe in magazines, but you'll still be my star. But the actually the line that I heard when I said, "Oh, I'm getting Rihanna's song Umbrella," was when the world has dealt its cards. That's when you'll need me there, and with you I'll always share. And I've been talking about sharing and giving and stuff since I saw the first card, the Chariot. So I think that's a message for somebody. I'm not getting anything else. That's when you'll need me there. With you I'll always share. I don't know. The next line is, of course, the chorus. When the sun shines, we'll shine together. Told you I'd be here forever. Said I'll always be your friend. Took an oath, and I'm going to stick it out to the end. I don't know. I'm not getting anything else, but that may mean something to somebody, that small piece. But the bottom line with this card is, and again, it belongs in reverse in this particular reading, in the reverse, is that there's a beautiful love, really, really beautiful love waiting to happen here. And again, our other cards have shown that as well. And particularly this overall energy of ours that says it's going to be, again, mutual adoration, mutual respect, you know, just mutual love, something of which you're both worthy and deserving, and maybe you've waited and, you know, finally here. But that very deep love and beautiful relationship that wants to happen can't happen, will not happen, even if you're already with the person. It won't grow to those heights as long as these obstacles are there. So it's about working on getting that out the way. So even if you're single, there's a need to consider what obstacles may be in your way, whether from somewhere else or self-imposed, that are keeping you single if you don't wish to be single. Some of us are fine being single, right? If you don't wish to be single, what has you in that state that maybe you could be working on doing something about right now? That brings us to Major Arcana card 8, Strength. We saw a lot of 8s today too. 8s can be significant this week. We have on the table right now Major Arcana card 8 and the 8 of Wands, but we also saw, was it the 8 of Swords before? The 8 of Pentacles when I was starting and shuffling. Anyway, Strength is a very positive card in every placement that it lands. I can't think of a time which Major Arcana card Strength, whether upright or in reverse, is negative. In this position of health, it means good news with regard to health. It means a great time to, you know, work on correcting poor habits, or to better ourselves. Like there's always room for improvement, and you know, it suggests that sometimes we could start with something small and work our way up. So maybe you're not ready to run yet, you start with walking, or maybe you can do, but some, you know, you're not ready to walk 5 miles, but you can walk 1, you know, and you do little by little, and you make these little improvements and have these, you know, small successes that ultimately will turn into a major win for you with regard to your health. But if you're waiting on some sort of information, again, communication coming in, this is indicated to be positive news that you get. So if you are currently dealing with a health situation, I would say, you know, the outlook, the situation turning out as or you getting as best news as you can right now, given the situation. If I had the sun here, I'd be more definitive about the positivity, you know, and that everything was going to be okay. So I don't necessarily see that in the cards, but I do see information coming in, all right, and it being positive news, good news, and I guess the best possible case that it could be. Last but not least, the Ten of Swords in reverse, with regard to spirituality, can mean that we finally overcome some sort of trauma or this extremely painful part of our past that we had been holding on to. So now's the time to look forward, right? The next card after this is the Ace of Swords. It can bring about like some questions that you want to consider. Like, what do you want to see your life, look like next month, next year, a year from today, 5 years from today, and planning for that future, and beginning to take steps toward it now in your present. The card also appears, as a reminder that in spiritual communities, people come like in and out of how you say, popularity, favor, just as they do in any other community. So it's about like not taking life or things like that or yourself too seriously, right? This was it was temporary. It was a time. It's past. We're letting go of it, and we're moving on to bigger and better things. Again, the Ace of Swords. So Ace of Swords is a card of victory. It means you've made it through whatever this was. And you should be, again, proud of yourself. You have a lot of reasons to be proud of yourself this week, as our Nine of Pentacles, with which we've started, tells us as well. Happy to also get us a message or two from here. Okay, there's two. Let me one more. There's two more. Okay. The bottom of the deck says, I pushed you away because I felt smothered and unworthy. Remember, I said this card, with this love, this is about a relationship for you. If it's resonating with regard to a relationship, this love you are going to feel worthy of, or you are worthy of, and you are deserving of, and the other person, same is true of them with regard to you. And they, you should be, the expectation is you're gonna make each other feel it with this card. That's what it says. The person felt unworthy of your love, kindness, and affection. So maybe they had to go back to the drawing board and do some work on themselves. You are in my heart now and forever, and I will always be faithful to you. Maybe that's somebody who's away, they're in the military, they're in jail. I don't know what kind of separation that is, but they're promising to keep themselves for you. Let's have a heart-to-heart conversation. I want to open up and tell you how I feel. We all want that. We all want that. We want to know how you feel. We want to tell you how we feel. I am willing to put in more time and effort so that the love between us can grow. That's what Earth energy is about. We started with this 9 and 10 of Pentacles back to back. That's about growth. You are a heaven sent earth angel who inspires me to be my best self. And that's what I have for you this week, at least with regard to the cards. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it. If you'd like to stick around, I have my computer just a few feet away from me, and I'm going to grab it and go over what it means for Venus to be entering Sagittarius, Venus and Mercury to be entering Sagittarius this week. So just quickly, looking at the planetary celestial calendar, November 16th at 1:08 a.m., Venus enters Sagittarius, 0 degrees Sag. Also on November 16th, but later on in the morning, 8:27 a.m., we'll experience the last quarter moon, 24 degrees Leo. Then the next day, November 17th at 3:42 a.m., Mercury enters Sagittarius, also 0 degrees Sag. And that's it for the week. So let's hear about Venus from www.tarot.com. Venus in Sagittarius, adventurous, joyful, larger than life. The transit is from November 15th through December 9th. Venus is the planet of love, self-worth, money, and all things beautiful. Her style is sweet, cooperative, and peaceful. But when this graceful planet moves into the free-spirited sign of Sagittarius, her joyful side will come out to play. Hearts come out of hiding while Venus moves through Sagittarius. The happy and free energy of Sagittarius turns Venus up a few notches, encouraging us to live life to the fullest. This is the time to socialize, to try new things, and to look for love in different places. Sagittarius is the sign of the adventurer. So when Venus is traveling through this sign, we find ourselves drawn to exotic people, places, and experiences. Old routines and worn-out relationships are at a risk of being traded in for something bigger, brighter, and better while Venus is in Sagittarius. So that doesn't necessarily mean the person. It means the relationship. So, like when we started, I said a cycle ended, but the person wants to start something. It could be somebody you already know, even an ex, and they want to start something brand new with you as the Fool. It would be that. Like not revisiting the same old stale thing, but doing something completely different and diving headfirst into it, at least in the case of the Fool. All right? We want to expand beyond our usual boundaries and may give up some of our comfortable patterns of the past in order to try out new experiences. Like that, again, the Fool just giving up on what he normally does. I'm not even looking. I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to go in order to try out these new experiences. Love needs to grow during this transit. It will not stand still. Sagittarius doesn't like to be tied down, so during Venus's dance here, it's best to keep love light and open and to avoid taking things too seriously. Didn't I just say that? Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take life too seriously. Don't take things too seriously. I'm glad this is all coming out, like reconfirming the message, and I hope it makes you guys feel more confident too. Those in a relationship can liven things up by taking a trip to a place neither of you have ever been, or by signing up for a class to learn something new together, maybe like knitting. It doesn't say knitting. I'm saying that because I was just talking about the knitting class and my daughter, which was completely random. So this is something that you guys, neither of you have done before, and you're going to try something new together. Singles could find love where they least expect it while Venus is in Sagittarius. Things that feel totally different are especially exciting now, and new lovers may be found through travel or in school, a book club, or other areas of learning, like knitting class. Trust and honesty may matter greatly while Venus is in Sagittarius. We want to believe the best, but things can often be exaggerated during this transit, and we may realize we're being taken for a ride. People, places, and things all appear grander than ever, but once the glitter wears off, we may see that they aren't so great after all. While Venus is in Sagittarius, we want excitement and pleasure, and we want it now. We could quickly empty our wallets without even giving it a second thought. Sagittarius likes a little risk, including financially. Excessive spending, gambling, and frivolity should be watched carefully during this transit. However, investing some money in a new course of study or a faraway travel experience is a way to use this energy for good. Yeah, my Sagittarius used to always want to spin and go and do, and I'd be like, we don't have to do it big every single day. You can keep money in your wallet. You can save it, keep it for yourself, keep it for your kids, whatever. But yeah, he wanted to 5-star dining and all kinds of stuff every day. So this is very true in my experience. Anywho, with Venus in Sagittarius, we have an amazing opportunity to look at the bright side of everything. The more possibility and positivity we put out now, the more we'll receive in return. I also said that. It's about giving, investing, putting things out, and it's going to come back to us. And I didn't even have Venus and Sagittarius in mind. This goes on to talk about what it means if you were born with this transit in your natal chart. So if you're interested in reading it, again, I got it from www.tarot.com. I'm moving on to Mercury in Sagittarius. Honest, idealistic, and forward-thinking. The transit begins on November 17th and goes through December 6th. Mercury, the info guy, has mixed feelings about being in Sagittarius. Expansive Sagittarius can be overwhelming to detail-oriented Mercury because small things can get blown out of proportion here and tales become taller than usual. Yet Mercury's time in the sign can end up being a blessing too, as open-minded and adventurous Sagittarius helps us to broaden our thoughts. Because Sagittarius is such a visionary, our minds end up wandering far and wide during this transit. Mercury has a reputation for being a bit of a wild card when it moves into this bold and sometimes reckless sign. That's because Mercury is all about ideas and words, and Sagittarius is all about action. So that explains it right there. You know why he would want to be reckless, and I would be saying, no, chill, relax, let's not. Because I'm the Mercury, I'm the Gemini, he's the Sagittarius. That's so funny. Anyway, this combination could lead to speaking without thinking, or accidentally saying something rude, or spouting off things that simply aren't true. Mercury is concerned with getting down to the nitty-gritty, and Sagittarius likes looking at life through a broader lens. Because Sagittarius always has its sights on the future, Mercury's presence in this sign supports visions of tomorrow. The trick is to use meticulous Mercury's knack for filling in all of the details so that the picture you're selling is the one that actually develops. Exuberant Sagittarius adds a touch of excitement wherever it goes, which means Mercury and Sagittarius can be a time of enthusiastic words, confident messages, and passionate debates. The key to this transit is to drop your prejudices, but not your reason. In the desire to find the answers to life's biggest questions, it's imperative that we appreciate different points of view. We must all remember to think before we speak while Mercury is in Sagittarius. That's because things could come flying out of our mouths without checking to see if they're true or before considering others' feelings. We need to triple check our words during this transit. I don't like that. I don't like triple checking my words, like tiptoeing around people or subjects, but I guess it is what it is. Anyway, they're suggesting that we do this so that we don't end up coming across as fools or saying things we don't really mean. Well, I don't like doing that either. So, Sagittarius is represented by the Archer, the Explorer, which means our possibilities are endless while Mercury is traveling here. We're encouraged to broaden our minds and our horizons right now, making this a great time to start thinking about taking a trip somewhere, going back to school, or starting a new job. And it goes on to talk about what it means for Mercury to be retrograde in Sagittarius, as well as what it means if you were born with Mercury in Sagittarius in your own natal chart. And again, if you want to read further on those things from this page where I was reading, I got it from www.tarot.com. I hope you've enjoyed the reading. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. Namaste.